I'm currently driving back from YCS Las Vegas, where I played 3 separate side events, and I crushed all of them. I played a really weird deck that I did absolutely 0 testing with. I just pulled up with it and did alright. I played RB, featuring Striker Mitsurugi. I know a lot of people hear stuff like that and they go, oh, why don't you call it, it's a Mitsurugi deck featuring RB cards, or it's a Striker deck with a little bit of RB cards. No, not with this deck. RB is the heart and soul of this deck. Every single starter in your deck is trying to get to RB combo. And I see a lot of people shitting on RB. They call it really bad. That's what RB stands for. Now that I think it came out in Nashville recently, and then got a new wave of people who do not believe in RB. But these cards are low-key pretty fucking good. I think if there's a way, I think they've kind of a misconception about what RB is supposed to be. It's not like these other decks where it puts up a giant, insane, unbreakable field, but it makes a pretty decent field through any 2 machine monsters. Any 2 machine monsters bridge you to booster, the Link 2, and that does your full combo, which sets up hand knowledge with a hand rip, a pop, a steal, a spell trap negate, something else. Yeah, no, monster negate, monster counter trap negate. Yeah, so, and Mitsurugi gets you to Striker, and Striker, obviously splashing Striker as an engine is known for putting 2 bodies on board with drones, Gagaria by drones, so that lets you summon Falcon Booster without using your normal summon. Very high value. So I'm just gonna, by memory, go card by card through my list and talk about it, because I have a lot to talk about with this deck. I think this deck is pretty cool. So I'll go through it by engine. I'll talk about the RB cards, then the Striker cards, and the Mitsu cards, and then the non-engine. Then we'll do, I don't know if I'll do extra deck after that, or if I'll include extra deck in the other discussions, whatever. So for the RB main deck monsters, there's 6 of them, and we're only playing 1 of each. And each of them, they're kind of the main interaction points of your RB engine. Each of them does a thing if it's being pointed to by an RB Link monster. You pay life equal to their attack, and then you do a thing of some kind. And these 6 RB monsters are further subdivided into the ones that are okay extenders and the ones that are just bricks if you draw them. For the ones that are okay extenders, they all say if you have no monsters on board or only RBs, then you can special summon them from your hand. They are okay extenders at best, because like, you can't do it before you do an engage, or like if you have one of your other 1-card starters that you normal summon, if you summon an RB monster from your hand first and then you normal summon like a Girsu, which we'll get to later, they're not going to hand trap your Girsu. They're going to be like, oh, he already has 2 machine monsters on board, and they'll wait for if they know what the cards do, they'll wait for the rocket. Or the booster, I'm sorry. So for the extenders, the RB main deck monster extenders, there is Cutter, Driller, Rocket, and who am I forgetting? Pile Bunker. So Cutter is a spell trap negate. Obviously really good. Probably going to be ending every turn 1 with Cutter on board. Driller is a Trident, or it's a quick effect monster pop, and you will probably summon this at some point on your opponent's turn. You don't usually start your end board with it unless, I don't know, you're against something where you really need monster removal over spell trap negate. Maybe something like, maybe you've peeped the hand of a Mouse player or something, and you know that popping the normal summon wins you the game. Then there's the 2 board breaker guys. There's Rocket, which has an ignition effect to pop 2 cards your opponent controls, and there's Pile Bunker, which, when it's pointed to by specifically Brute Blues, which you are very frequently summoning, that card is insane, and when it declares an attack, Pile Bunker, you can use it and just straight up pop all cards in your opponent's board. So your going second game plan is very frequently throw your whole hand at them, exhaust their interruption, and then try and stick a pile bunker wipe, and then double attack with Brute Blues to win the game. Just speaking of Brute Blues, I'll talk about the extra deck monsters now. There's Booster, so this is your combo starter. It is a Link 2 that takes any 2 machine monsters, and on summon, it just searches any RB spell. Obviously crazy. And it has a separate ignition effect also that lets you summon an RB from hand or graveyard. Because it summons from hand, potentially, it means it doesn't target in the graveyard. It's very nice. And then you can move it to another main monster zone. So you can kind of you can free your extra monster zone if you want to summon your guy to fix your arrows. Yeah, super powerful card. It's a Searcher and a Reborn. And then there's Brute Blues, who is your boss monster. He is a Link 3 with 3 down pointing arrows. And for some reason, he's also just a consistency piece. It's this ignition effect that just searches an RB card. This deck has like 5 searchers. It was what kind of initially drew me to the deck, is that every RB card will get you into every other RB card. And additionally, while Brute Blues points to an RB monster, it gains 3 separate effects. It can attack twice, it can't be destroyed by card effects, and it gains the attack equal to the attack of all RB monsters that it points to. So yeah, really powerful card. Searches you any other card. Indestructible, double attacker, huge. Almost always want to end with it in your main monster zone, unless you get hand trapped to absolute death, in which case you probably can just end on the other guy. The last Link monster is Shepherd's Crook, and this card is also really, really good. It's especially good at making half boards after getting hand trapped. Shepherd's Crook, it's a Link 3. It's the only Link monster, RB Link monster, that does not require a machine monster of any kind. So you can use Nib tokens, normal summon hand traps, Sky Striker Ace Rose, which we'll get to later. Yeah. And just ignition effect in the main phase just sets an RB trap card straight from your deck or graveyard. Obviously, just immediate interruption, super good. And he has a quick effect in your opponent's main where you target 3 RB main deck monsters, you place 2 on the bottom of the deck, and you summon the other one. So that can be an extra interruption if you're getting back one of your interruption guys. And it's also recycling, obviously. Oh, also, I just realized I completely just skipped over the other 2 main deck monsters that are super important. The brick ones, the ones that are not good to draw. There's Lambda Cannon and Lambda Blade. Lambda Cannon on summon adds back a RB monster from your graveyard to your hand, and its pointed to effect is Triple Tactics Talent. It just lets you look at your opponent's hand, pick a monster from it, special to their field, and negate its effects. Just insane that your mainline combo always pivots through looking at your opponent's hand and ripping them for 1. Crazy stuff. Lambda Blade on summon dumps 1 from deck, so you're frequently going to dump with Blade and then add back with Cannon. And then it has a really insane interruption effect also, where during your opponent's main, as a quick effect, you can steal a monster they control, and then it gets popped in the end phase. So those are that's every RB monster. I'll get to the spells and traps. You have the field spell, Funk Dock. Again, this card is just a search and an E-Telly in 1 card. It's super, super efficient card. It's crazy stuff. Adds any RB card in activation. If an RB monster you control is destroyed, which very frequently will be happening because they destroy themselves, you just summon an RB from your deck. And it also has an extra effect where every time your opponent's monster is destroyed, you gain 500 life. This just helps circumvent or helps balance out your life after you pay a ton to activate your RB monster effects. And then there's Stage Landing, which is another just crazy card. Normal spell special summons an RB from your main deck or extra deck, not once per turn, just for no reason. And it also protects your RB monsters from destruction by banishing from your graveyard. I mean, I don't think I should have to explain how summoning any RB from your deck or extra deck not once per turn is broken. Like, that's crazy. There is another RB spell, Operations Test. It's like a Reborn or something. I didn't play it. There's like a 60 cards, by the way. We're already playing enough awkward cards in bricks that I didn't want to add in any more one-ofs, like Operations Test. But I did play the 2 trap cards, and in your ideal end board, you are ending on both of these. So a lot of your end boards, you'll maybe you can only get to 1. That's fine. They're both really good. There's I might get it mixed up. There's Last Stand and Next Phase. I might be mixing up the names. I'm pretty sure Next Phase is the counter trap that lets you pop an RB you control to negate a monster effect, destroy it, and then gain 2,000 life. And then the other one, Last Stand, is a normal trap that specials any RB from your deck. So that's a crucial part of a lot of your half boards, where you end on Shepherd's Crook and you just like set this, because then this gets you any interruption at your deck. So it could be the steal from Lambda Blade, the pop from Driller, or the spell trap you get from Cutter. It has an extra effect in the graveyard that lets you banish and negate an effect that targets an RB card. So frequently, if you can only make a half board and you went for the counter trap instead, you can you'll frequently be summoning Lambda Blade from your deck or graveyard, either with the field spell or with Shepherd's Crook on your opponent's turn, and then you can use Lambda Blade on summon effect to dump the Last Stand from your deck. So it's just an extra, which will give you a tiny extra little interruption in your half board. And when you've been hand trapped your opponent's down cards, having as many tiny interruptions as possible can really add up. So those are all the RB cards. The Sky Striker cards, pretty simple stuff. We're playing 3. The one that people will not know is 3 Pillar of the Future Cyanos. So it's a level 1 light machine monster that is always treated as a Sky Striker monster. On summon, it special summons Rose from your deck. So immediately then you can link off Rose, and that's 2 machine bodies, which makes booster for your full combo. It can also banish itself from the graveyard, special a Rose from your graveyard, so that's another just extra body. And on top of that, it can special itself from hand by discarding a spell. So it's not even like a dedicated normal summon. It can be extender if you really need it to. And that came up a couple times. And then obviously we're playing 1 Rose to go with it. It's a brick. You don't ever want to be drawing Rose. And then 3 Engage, 3 drones. Obviously Engage gets you to your full combo. Draws you cards sometimes, you know, it's Engage. So yeah, the Sky Striker cards are basically just to print machine bodies to make for booster, while also getting incidental draws off the Engage. And then we also side an Afterburner from when you go second as an extra Engage target. For the Mitsurugi cards, Sky Striker extra deck monsters, we'll talk about those. The extra deck space in this deck is actually pretty tight, because even though you get locked into only machine monsters with 1500 or less attack from the extra deck, there's still actually like a fair bit of stuff we want to play. The extra deck space is pretty tight. So for Sky Striker cards, we're playing Wankagari, essential for your 1-card combo, Hayate and Amatsu. These are kind of these are the mid ones that you're only playing because they are machine monster link ones that point down. If you really need it to, Amatsu can be a pretty mid interruption. I believe it changes the effect of a monster your opponent controls at 25 or 100 or higher attack. It changes the effect to pop a Sky Striker Ace monster. So it's basically just a negate. It also protects itself from battle. I think it has a Sakuratsu armor built in. But you're mostly just playing it so that you can convert bodies into machines if you need to. For Sky Striker Link 2s, we're playing Zeke. Zeke is basically just an extra board breaking tool. Banish opponent's monster until their next end phase, so it's often gone for a pretty long time. Zeke is probably the flex spot of the extra deck. There's 1 card I would maybe think about cutting for it, but see, I think Zeke is pretty okay. And then the last Sky Striker Link monster is Camellia. It's essential for bridging your Mitsu cards into Sky Striker and then into RB. Yeah. So for Mitsurugi cards, we're on what I consider kind of the bare minimum you can play in a Mitsu package. So we're playing the good ones, 3 pre-prep, 3 prayers, and the 1 Haba. And then 1 of the bad ones, which is Murakumo, Mirror, Ritual, and Saji. Yeah, so basically, these guys just eat hand traps for days so that your RB cards can actually resolve. But if they do resolve, having pre-prep or prayers, excuse me, is full RB combo plus a draw 1 off an engage, and I'm like full RB combo. So you'll have both traps. You'll have the cutter pop, cutter negate, driller pop, blade steal, next phase monster negate, and the hand rip, plus potential hand rip from Murakumo and board wipe from Murakumo. So yeah, really powerful stuff off of just one pre-prep or prayers. And then hard opening Habakiri gets you the same thing, but it doesn't get you the draw 1 off of engage because you won't have enough spells in graveyard. So obviously you just like have pre-prep. You pre-prep for Habakiri, a mirror. You reveal Habakiri, summon Saji, tribute Saji, get ritual, summon from. I was pretty frequently summoning from deck, but it's situation dependent. Summon from deck, Murakumo, tribute Habakiri effects, get a prayers or something. Mirror back your Habakiri, Murakumo, get like another prayers, and then use those 2 bodies to go into Camellia, dump engage, Kagari, back engage, get Cyanos plus a draw, and then just start doing your RP combos. I thought about playing Nightsword Serpent, Kusanagi, but like, again, even though we're playing 60 cards, we have a lot of awkward one-ups we do not want to draw, and I had a lot of games where my 5th card would be a dead mirror that does nothing, or a Murakumo that does nothing. So I think this is probably the absolute smallest you can make the package, while still having a reasonable ceiling on your end board. For non-engine, for hand traps, I played 3 Fulos, 3 Ash Blossom, 2 Joel, 1 Nibiru, and then 3 Imperm. We're on crossout, which is why I was on 1 Nibiru. Nibiru was kind of the 60th card. Although a lot of the times you don't care about Nibiru anyway, because you can look at hand with Lambda Cannon and summon the Nib straight out of their hand, so they don't have it. Did that several times. So yeah, maybe we're cutting for something else. I don't know. Imperm was pretty mid. I will probably be cut 3 Imperm. I'll talk about it more, I guess, closer to the end. Ash Blossom, fantastic. It was Ash. Fua, broken. Droll, never drew it, but I played a lot of matchups where it would have been not great. I played a lot of Branded and Draco Tail. Obviously pretty mid against those. Would still probably end up playing it, mostly because, again, we are on crossout, and this deck hard folds the Droll. You get your shit pushed in by Droll. I don't think I got Drolled and won a game today. Or yesterday when I also played. Yeah, there's the hand traps. For non-hand trap, non-engine, for breakers, we have 3 Droplet and 3 Virtuous. And the Virtuous targets, we're playing just 1 Albion, 1 Ecclesia Synchro. Really powerful cards, especially versus Draco Tail or Radiant Typhoon. Pop your flame, or pop your spell, also dodge their flame. Pop their mandate. Droplet, send your stuff away. I mean, I was beating like full VSK9 boards without hand traps, without Fulos or anything, just with like Droplet, Virtuous, and an engine starter. On top of that, we have 2 Thrust, 1 Talents. Thrust, obviously, a pretty good card, especially going second when you're playing like a deck like Striker Mitsurugi. Gets you pre-prep or engage for another push immediately when you're going second, or if you get a breaker that you side in. Going first, it can set. I think I kind of wanted to play the Imperm so I can have a decent thrust set when going first. But the RB normal trap is almost always going to be better. And frequently, here's the real synergy that I like with thrust, is that your main combo puts a monster on your opponent's board. which then lets you just thrust for talents straight up and just rip another card out of their hand. So like, let's say they hand trap you, you lambda cannon them, rip another card, and then you just get to thrust talents, rip another card. And then maybe you have Murakuma set up also, and you get to potentially rip another card. So it's really, it gives you a pretty decent matchup against like Vanquish Soul or Draco Tail, decks that really need to maintain their hand advantage to win the game. Also, I just realized I forgot another main deck starter for RB. Our dedicated normal summon is Girsu. I mentioned it earlier. We're just playing 2 Girsu. The idea behind it is that I just wanted one hard normal summon because Cyanos is better for sure, but it can be an extender also. So Girsu, you normal it, you use Inspect the Dump, baits hand traps game 1 if they don't know what you're playing, like an Ash, and then summons the and then it dumps the other Girsu. So you've totally cleared the package out of your deck, so you don't dead draw a Girsu later. And then it summons tokens to your field and your opponent's field. That's additional synergy with thrust, puts a monster on your opponent's board to let you thrust into talents. Also, obviously stops you from getting imperned. If you're under Charmies, then it prevents them from drawing into more Charmies. Yeah, fucks up stuff like hold on. Yeah, fucks up stuff like Sky Striker came up, and then cross out and called by because we are really trying to not get trolled. Trolled is the killer for this deck. What's left? I think I did the whole extra deck. I went through all the Sky Striker cards, the 2 Virtuous Targets, and the RB cards. I think that's everything in the main deck. And then in my side, I played 3 Perulia. I think every deck should be siding Perulia. I love Perulia. Insane versus Vanquish Soul, Radiant Typhoon. It's almost never bad. You know, just fucking normal summon, free draw. I played 2 Bell. So this is kind of the I don't know what the fuck to play slots. It was spots 14 and 15 for the side deck. I wanted something that was kind of an all-rounder. You know, hits random stuff, hits its Mitsurugi, going second versus Draco Tail, it's a trap card. Malice, it's decent against. I'm going through a checkpoint, hold up. Okay. I don't know why that guy's honking at me. I didn't see he was trying to signal. My bad. Yeah, 2 Bell. I don't think I ended up drawing it ever, so I can't really speak on that. And then I played 3 Lava Golem because obviously, you know, don't need a normal summon in this deck. You would almost always side out the Girsus for Golem going second. And yeah, Golem obviously insane. Non once per turn special summon, tribute over your guys. It removes 2 bodies for free. Like I don't really know how to iterate on that more. Then played 1 Duster. Duster thrust target also for our thrust deck, and then Afterburner. Extra engage target when going second. Thrust target going second. I think I got the bonus pop off of it maybe only once. I don't know if I would continue playing it in the future. And then the remaining 5 cards in the side is just fucking 5 Haymaker going first cards. 3 Mistaken Arrest to steal games that we don't deserve. I never drew it because I basically never went first. I was very frequently going second my games today and yesterday. Then Different Dimension Ground, just crazy thrust target that wins the game against a lot of decks. And Judgment, just going first, crazy cards. I want to say that over the weekend, I only sided going first a single time because I was frequently, you know, winning. game one and they make you go second next game. So I can't really speak on those. In theory, they're crazy though, right? Like it's just extra. Judgment just trades 1-for-1 with a card. DDG and Mistaken Arrest frequently just win games by themselves. Yeah. As for anything I would do differently, definitely take out the 3 imperms. And I felt like I was missing maybe one more engine push. So maybe I would try, like, instead of the 3 imperms, the 3rd Girsu maybe, and then that makes it side out really clean with the lava golems, just 3 Girsu for 3 golems. 3rd Thrust maybe. Thrust was fucking bananas. That card was insane in this deck. And I really don't know what I would play for the 60th card. Maybe more nibs or something? I don't know. Because we're going less on the lower impact hand traps. And we have to kind of go all in more on high impact ones, like nib. But then frequently, nib by itself will frequently do nothing versus a deck like an Henny K9 deck, Draco Tail, any deck playing Fiendsmith to put up teaser. So I don't know, maybe take out the 3 imperm and the nib. I don't know. I can't think of one more really powerful non-engine you could play. You could maybe try maining Perulios. I know a lot of really high engine, more board breakery decks can sometimes just main deck a bunch of Charmies to try and draw engine pushes and breakers. So yeah, I'm not sure, but definitely take out 3 imperm for 3rd Thrust, 3rd Girsu, and some 3rd thing, some sinister 3rd thing. Anything else to talk about? One thing that might be noticeably missing in the extra deck is Galatea I for Girsu, and the case for playing Galatea. There's 2 of them. There's a case for playing Galatea I and the World Crown in your deck. Playing this means that if you open with your Girsu combo, or maybe just hard drawing the World Crown, a fucking Cybertruck just walked. A Cybertruck just drove past me with a license plate. What is it supposed to mean? B-Fist? B-E-E space F-S-T. Maybe B-Fast? I don't know. That guy got to kill himself, though, in a video game. What was I talking about? Galatea? Yeah, the case for playing Galatea is also playing the Crown in your deck, and then that raises the ceiling of your board if you open the Girsu combo, because that means you can end on an extra negate with the Crown. Or also just if you draw Crown, if you hard draw Crown going first, it can just be an extra board piece. But like I've said, I don't want to play another one of. Really did not want to play more bricks in this deck. But the case for playing Galatea I without any more brain deck bricks is that you can turn Girsu into it, and then later in your combo, if you get interrupted, you can summon your Girsu back. Summon yourself back with banishing your Girsu. So maybe you normally your Girsu, you use the Fekmik token, you summon Falcon, you make Galatea I with Girsu, and then you make Falcon Booster, and then maybe they Ash your Falcon Booster or something. Then you could use Galatea, banish Girsu, summon yourself back, and then make Brute Blues, and then Brute Blue Search, and then keep comboing. But I think playing Galatea I might be correct if people become a little more familiar with the RB cards, because people will frequently be hand trapping you right at the start of your combo, not on the booster. Booster resolved basically every time I summoned it, with the on summon effect did. And if people are hand trapping your early starting stuff, like it doesn't matter if I play Galatea I. If my only starter is Girsu, I normal it, they imperm it. Okay, what? I link it to Galatea I, and then what? I can't get another body to keep playing. So maybe in the future, there could be a case for switching out maybe Zeke for Galatea I. And I also didn't want to just dedicate a whole extra deck spot to it when I'm only playing 2 Girsu in the main. But another point against it is that having to go through Galatea Eye in your Girsu combo makes it lose to Nib. Because another fucking Cybertruck just drove past me with some insane paint job. Oh my god. So your Girsu combo, how it is in the deck now, doesn't lose to Nib because it just summons, token, booster, field spell, stage lightning, summon, Lambda Cannon, and then cannon rip their Nib. But if you go through Galatea Eye, that's your 5th summon on the cannon, and they can just nib you there, and you're probably passing. Which is again another one of which is a downside of the Sky Striker package also, because you have to go through a Link monster to turn Rose into a Link. It's okay. Yeah. Well, the Cyanos combo loses to Nib that way. The Drones combo is okay. I think, right? You token, drone summon token, make Kagari. No, it doesn't actually, because the token is a warrior. Yeah, no, that loses to Nib too. So the Sky Striker cards lose to Nib, but Girsu doesn't. So even in the future, maybe if I go up to 3 Girsu, I don't know if I'll keep playing or if I'll start playing the Galatea Eye, even though it is technically an extra body for basically no investment. What else is there to talk about? I did win a lot of games today because people do not know what the cards do. I think that is a legitimate advantage to playing a deck, is that people are not going to know what the fuck your combo entails, right? They're not going to know what the hand trap, they're not going to know if you start with an RB stage landing, they're not going to know what that entails, right? They might hand trap it, and then you slam down another one, and they go, oh, that's not once per turn, and you say, nope. I had a lot of games where game 1, they would only see RB cards, and then game 2, I would open with pre-prep, and they would go, oh shit, I did not anticipate this in this light. I did not plan for this at all. That'll help you win games as well. And I did not play perfectly, for sure. I messed up multiple times. 2 that I can think of, or 3 that I can think of. There was one time when I was so tunneled on resolving Cannon's hand rip that I straight up forgot it adds back from grave on summon, and I could have added back Cutter and had a spell trap negate on my opponent's turn. Now you can access it anyway by summoning it back with Shepherd's Stroke in your opponent's main, but I could have started my opponent's main phase with that on board, and that mattered because my opponent's main phase first action was activate Brand Infusion. So I fucked up there. Another time I fucked up. This isn't even RB related. I just forgot. I just should have Virtuous popped in the draw phase instead of waiting for the main phase. My opponent had Ripper with Force Release setup and a bunch of other cards, and I was able to answer the rest of the board with Impermanent Droplet. But my first starter was Habakiri, and I needed to pop Ripper in draw phase so that they couldn't just chain Force Release. And my only start was Habakiri, so I couldn't go main phase, just activate Habakiri. Oh, then it loses to Ripper. Then I can't just go main phase, activate Virtuous. Oh, because then he just Force Releases it. So I had to get a little funky there. That was a fuck up on my part. If I didn't have another okay extender, then that probably would have been wraps there. That would have been a game losing mistake. Another time I looked at hand with Cannon, and my opponent, I believe he had 2 Vanquish Soul Monsters and a Borger, and he had 2 Azuna, and I knew he had 1 Azuna, and that's what I was intending to rip. Only 2, and that kind of fucked me up because I don't really want to summon any Vanquish Souls to his board because then he can just tag them out. I think I ended up summoning Azuna anyway, but I was okay because I had a Cutter to pop the Lupus when he tried to, because he had a Lupus engraved already, when he tried to see something with it. So that would have also been a game-losing mistake if my hand wasn't fucking crazy. You will open hands in this deck that are just straight up unbeatable. just like you will also open hands in this deck where you have maybe 3 solid cards, and then the rest of your hand is like a fucking Lambda Blade that you hard drew and can't summon, and a Mitsurugi Mirror. Yeah, so that's the case for playing 6 cards in this deck. I got inspired to play this deck by some guy on YouTube. I did not remember his YouTube channel, but he makes a ton of RB videos, and he made one specifically talking about Striker Mitsurugi RB, where he played maybe like 50 cards or something, and I just decided to take that to the absolute maximum, just completely max out on engine pushes, and so you can minimize our chances of drawing bricks. Like crazy engine pushes in this deck. We have the RB field spell is full RB combo. RB stage landing is full RB combo. Engage is full RB combo. Drone's full RB combo. Cyanos full RB combo. Habakiri is full RB combo. Pre-prep is full RB combo plus Mitsu plus a draw 1. Prayers is full RB combo plus Mitsu plus a draw 1. Girsu is full RB combo. If you open an awkward hand with just like 2 of the little RB guys that summon themselves, that's full RB combo. So yeah, you're just throwing huge threats at your opponent that they're forced to answer until eventually you are able to squeeze through an RB combo. Kind of like how decks would use leftover materials to go into a Verte or into a Moon to go through Fiends stuff. You go to the Booster. Booster is your Moon of the Close Heaven in this deck. You bait everything, and then you go to Booster and do full RB combo, hand rip, 4 interruptions minimum. Yeah, so that's the theory behind playing this deck. It was a fucking blast. Basically, even going second, even letting them play entirely uninterrupted, making a huge Radiant Typhoon VS K9 board, you will always have cards to play. You're always just throwing shit at them, which I thought it was a really interesting pick for a deck. I thought the theory was pretty sound. Still got some tinkering to do in the lab with it. But yeah, it was super fun, way more powerful than I expected, way out of left field. Nobody expects it. Starlights for the deck are like $10 a piece. You can max your deck for like $100. You can build the deck for, I mean, you can buy the modern decks and then buy some RB cards. You can probably build this deck for fucking $50. Like, am I pilling you on RB yet? Are you ready to play RB? Are we going to RBs? Anyway, that's why my thesis for this video is that RB, it does not stand for really bad. It stands for really broken. Yeah. Peace. Have a good one. All right, quick addendum while I'm getting gas. I was also playing 1 Prosperity and Terraforming for consistency. And as for other cards you could consider playing that I did not play, you could try maybe 1 Widow Anchor as just an alternate target for Engage that helps break boards. And I also thought about playing Great Purification because sometimes you peek at a hand with Cannon, you see a bunch of spell and traps, a bunch of breakers, and you only have 1 in-engine spell trap negate. So yeah, sometimes it felt like not enough, but I don't know if that's worth playing a Garnet that you can only access through 7 restarters. Okay, cool, bye. Addendum part 2, the food review. I got some authentic Chinese cuisine. Let's give it a shot. I believe they call this one the orange chicken. Excellent. All right, I'll take this time to talk a little more, just ramble some thoughts. Let's talk about one of the, I've spent a lot of time gassing up RB. Let's talk about the weaknesses. Fua, it's fucking brutal. There are hands where you can make a reasonable half board around Fua. Maybe something like Shepherd's Crook, set a trap card, have an RB guy pointing to it, and then that'll be like, you know, that's like three interruptions right there. That's like the RB guy who's pointing to who Shepherd's Crook is pointing to, and then float into the field spell into another interruption, and then you have the trap card, and then whatever non-engine you have. So that's like reasonable, but you can't always get to that. Like I said earlier, Droll will put you in the fucking ground. There are ways to play around Droll, but they frequently... God, okay. I re-listened to a little bit of what I said earlier. I say frequently so much. Oh my God. I'm going to start saying often instead of frequently. There are ways to play around Droll, but often they are lines that are just worse into every other hand trap, or that make you lose to every other hand trap. It's like would make you lose to a single Ash. And obviously, the odds of them having Ash are higher than the odds of them having Droll. And Droll is also a card that I frankly see probably eating a limit, a ban, at some time in the future. Maybe not super soon, but who knows. So right now, I'm saying fuck it. If we get Droll, we probably just lose. That's why we're playing Call by Crossout. And I talked earlier about having, you know, maybe an extra slot in the main deck after taking out the Imperms. If there's any reasonable Droll counter you could play, you could think of, maybe you could play it there. But I can't fucking think of one. Is there like I don't know, like Salesman is terrible. I think Salesman sucks ass. You can't do instant fusion for Millennium Miser Strict because the lock on your extra deck is retroactive. It's for the whole turn, not just for not just after you summon. What else? Multiple breakers can fuck you. You obviously have the cutter to insulate against one, but a second one can just blow you out of the water completely. Although I guess Stage Landing in the graveyard can insulate against that a little bit if it's like a destruction-based breaker, like Lightning Storm or something, or a Geki or Illusion Gate. What else? Perulia, you don't give too much of a shit about Perulia. That's fine. Playing around low impact hand traps in the deck is pretty easy and intuitive, I find, because you're basically trying to make the same board every time, and every starter / extender you have just facilitates getting that end board. But one of my biggest problems with RB is because of the extra deck lock, where you can only summon, I think it's link monsters that are machines with 1500 or less attack, the ceiling on your board is kind of capped. So sometimes you'll open, you know, a normal summon starter like Kirsu, and you'll open something else like an Engage, and then maybe you'll also open like an RB starter extender like Stage Landing or the Field Spell. But those will not meaningfully increase the ceiling of your end board. The max power of your end board in terms of only engine, not counting non-engine cards, is the absolute strongest board you can make with engine is like Mitsu setup, so Murakumo and Prayer. Mitsu setup, so Murakumo and Prayers, and then all three of the little RB interruptions: the Steal, the Monster Pop, and the Spell Trap Negate. Then maybe the normal trap card for follow-up, the counter trap for a monster negate, and the Lambda Cannon, Hand Knowledge, and Hand Rip. And like that sounds like a lot, right? But like if you're using if you can do all that off one card, off of your off of a pre-prep or a Prayers. So like if you have that and your whole play goes uninterrupted, then you have these other starters and extenders in your hand, they aren't contributing towards making a they aren't contributing towards a meaningful increase in your end board ceiling. They're kind of just doing nothing. So if they don't interrupt you, you can make a pretty nice board, yeah. But like, I don't know, what if they have like 6 breakers in their hand or something, right? Like you're just gonna get fucking owned. Or maybe they have several breakers, you rip their starter and then they top pick another starter or something, and then they just fucking destroy you because your extra extenders cannot convert into something meaningful. I guess maybe the strongest extra addition you could make to the board if you went completely uninterrupted is you could make like Amatsu, the Sky Striker card, but that card is like, it's barely an interrupt. Like what does that hit even? Like Murakumo is always going to be chain blocked. Arthalion's always going to be chain blocked. Maybe it stops a Gulamel. How much deck does Crosea have? I don't think it even has that. It can't stop Crosea. I guess it could stop a Phonics. It could stop a Ripper that's buffed by Case. I don't know. There's not too many use cases for Amatsu's negation. Yeah. So and I scoured the database for machine link monsters with 1500 or less attack, in order to find something that could increase your end board ceiling. And that's also why I was talking about World Crown is a potential option, but I didn't want to include any more Garnets in my deck. So yeah, as soon as they print, I don't know, maybe just straight up more RB support. I don't know, we'll see. Like, they haven't gotten an OCG card. We only have the original TCG waves. But as soon as they print a machine link monster with 1500 attack or less that does something on your end board that you can convert extra extenders into, we'll be cooking. It'll increase the ceiling when you go uninterrupted way higher. Fewer just dead cards sitting in your hand. Yeah, I think that's everything on my mind for now. So bye for real this time. This Panda Express didn't give me a fortune cookie. Don't go to Panda Express in Barstow, California.